Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Media Boss Live. I am Dr. Barrett Matthews, and I am excited about the topic we have today. I'm going to get into that a little bit in just a minute. But first of all, welcome once again. Please make sure you're sharing this with people. Make sure you're telling everybody about Media Boss Live and that you're on today. If you're watching it later in recording, I hope that you can catch us live sometimes. But if not, just keep watching recordings. And I want to make sure everyone is leaving their questions and comments in the chats. Please, I would love to see that, more shares as well. We'd love that as well. But also, I want to talk about what Media Boss Live is. I am Dr. Barrett Matthews of Media Boss Pro. And what we do in Media Boss Pro is we're turning CEOs, business success, high level people into industry icons. Whether you're in sports, sports coaching, or at the C suite at the conference room, we want to make sure that as you transition out of that space, that you can keep your message, your brand, your knowledge, your expertise out there in the marketplace so people can learn from you. So we want to turn you into an industry icon by leveraging the power of media. So many people out there aren't using media to its capacity, and we want to make sure that you can do that without having to wait on someone to call your name. We want to show you how to leverage media for yourself, and we do that at Media Boss Pro. How did I get into that? Who am I? Well, I am Barrett Matthews. I majored in mass media arts at Hampton University. I then went on to work at WUSA TV, which at the time may still be the number one news station in Washington, D.C. I was an assistant director there. Then moved up to New York to the network. Worked at CBS Sports there, where I did production and research there as well. And after that, I kind of got out of media for a while. I got out of media, got into the business sector, which is why I'm able to talk to business people as well. I worked in the business sector, but no matter what I seemed to do in business, something in media kept pulling me back in as much as I tried to get out. And after a while, I said, why am I fighting this? This is what I do. This is what I do well. Let me go ahead and start doing some media things. So I started hosting shows, producing shows online, and then people started calling me to help produce and host their shows. After a while, I said, you know what? There are a lot of people out there that need to start using media. So I started producing podcasts for people. And I still do that. I still produce podcasts for people. But I said that podcasting may not be enough for everybody. And what I mean by that is all of your audience does not watch podcasts, but everybody in your audience consumes information through one form of media or another. So what I wanted to do was make sure that the people I deal with understand that you should have a presence on various forms of media all at the same time so that your audience, no matter which medium they are looking for, they can find you. Make yourself findable instead of chasing people on various platforms. So that's what I want to do, is make sure you can be seen everywhere all at once. And that's what we do at Media Boss Pro. So that's who I am. That's what I do. And what you're here for today are 5 days of media strategies that you can start using now. Now, 5 days. I know. Some of you may be joking because if you've been here for a minute, we haven't always done 5 days. Like this, it was Tuesday. We did not have a Media Boss Live, but we're here today. It's Thursday. We're here today, and we have an interesting topic today. It's something I've been wanting to get into because I have some views that I'd like to discuss, but I want to give you some information before I get into my views on it. And what we're going to be talking about is social media in journalism. Social media in journalism. I am one. I'm old school. Okay, I'm old school. I want to put that out there first. I am of the belief that in the United States, at least, journalism is dead, and it saddens me deeply to say that. It really saddens me to say that. But I'm saying it because it's my platform here, and I'm saying it, and I'm going to tell you why I say that. We were taught when I was in school about journalism. We were taught about understanding the who, what, where, when, why, and how, and asking those questions to show both sides of a story, to show the truth, to show what was out there and let others decide. But it seems that now we have moved from journalism into sensationalism, where, and I'm going to be talking about this, I'm going to be putting out a book very soon, so you be ready for that. I'll be putting out a book talking about these things. But we've moved to sensationalism to where it's more about who can get the story out first, as opposed to whether it's right or not, whether the information is correct. I want to be the first to report it instead of being the person that gets it right. And it seems that that goes on through television, through radio, through papers, through social media. I mean, think about it. How many times have you seen reported on social media that a famous celebrity was dead, only to find out that they were not even sick? But someone just reported it because they saw it and they said, well, let me spread this around instead of checking the facts. So that's my high horse there. It's my little platform I wanted to get on for a second. So let's get into, I'm going to talk about the effects of social media on journalism first. Then we're going to talk about how journalism can be used, or social media can be used rather, in journalism. So first, one thing when we're talking about the effects of social media on journalism is speed and accessibility. Social media will allow journalists to get news information out instantaneously. And it's morning, so I got my cup of Joe here as well. But it can get information out very fast and increasing the speed in which the news can reach the public, the populace. So that's one of the effects. Another thing that, excuse me, social media can do is it can actually, and this is some of, like I said, some of the pluses and minuses, it can enact what they call citizen journalists, meaning that the social media can act as a conduit for a citizen to put out information, provide real-time updates of first-hand accounts right from the scene. And don't get me wrong, some of that is great. I mean, great. Think about the times that you've watched a video of someone who was on a scene and they pulled out a camera and captured something. A lot of times those videos have helped save lives. A lot of times those videos have stopped people from getting falsely prosecuted. A lot of times those videos have helped people get prosecuted that should have been prosecuted. So that's a good thing about it. Citizen journalism does help a lot. And some people have made a good deal of money by selling those videos to major outlets. Now, one thing social media can do, and I hope you're going to do that when we're here, it can give audience engagement. I want you guys to engage here. Ask some questions, give some comments, give your thoughts on this. Journalists can interact directly with their audience, and you can get immediate feedback. You don't have to wait all the time. You can get immediate feedback as soon as you put it out. And of course, if you're in the writing field, that gives you more readership. If you could put stuff out right away and get instant feedback. Now, here's the one. Number 4 here was the effects that it's had on media, on journalism, with social media. Misinformation, or as some of you may call it, fake news. And the speed of which we want to disseminate the information causes us to just put out false information a lot of times because we don't check. We don't verify things. And it tears the journalist inside me up when I see this. Because I have corrected people. I have chastised people on social media who put out information. And they go, oh, well, I saw it was put out there. That's not good enough. Check your source. I've done so much as to check a source. I'll give you an example. I've seen information and I questioned it. So I looked up to see if I saw it anywhere else. I didn't see it reported anywhere else. Then I said, let me see, who is this source here that put this out? I Googled the source. It's Google, guys. You can look this up yourself. And the source, it says it is a gossip uh, periodical or a the conspiracy theorists. So they will spread these things just to get people incited. But people who are, I'm going to say it, lazy, won't check the source and find out where it came from. That's right. If you're that person, I called you lazy. Deal with it. So start fact checking. I can change it. So another thing that social media has done with media is that it changed consumption of news. A lot of people, I'll give you an example. I'll get my news from my phone a lot of times, and many of you do too. I don't watch television news anymore. And I used to work in television news. And the thing is, social media has become a major, major platform for people to get their news. It changed the whole way that people look at how they get their consumption of it and distribution, because they distribute the news on social media. Now, one thing that social media has done, another negative, is a loss of advertising revenue. So, as you all are pretty much aware of, traditional outlets, they rely on advertisers to keep themselves going. That's why you see all the commercials. Traditional outlets, they have taken a hit. The advertisers, the budgets have moved to social media platforms. That's why you see a lot of commercials or a lot of ads on your social media, because that's where the budgets have moved to. Now, one cool thing about social media, and this is actually the seventh topic here, visual storytelling. Visual storytelling. So the social media platforms, they actually encourage you to use multimedia content like videos, images, infographics, because the eyes are what keep people interested. And what that does is it allows people to tell more stories. And these are good journalistic methods if the person is using journalistic integrity. But they can be fantastic tools. Use the video, man. Video is king. Also, a cool thing with social media, using that as far as for journalism, you can get some pretty good analytics out of it. Um, how do I best put this? Journalists, they use social media analytics to track and to reach out and impact their story, so they can tell where the information is coming from, who's reading it, how many are consuming it, because social media can give them that, and it can actually help you make more informed decisions on what you want to do next by doing that. Now, going back to the negative, so let me just go down my list again. We got speed and accessibility is number one. Number two, citizen journalism. Number three, audience engagement. Number four, misinformation and the fake news. Number five, shift in news consumption. Number six, the loss of advertising revenue. Number seven, visual storytelling. And number eight, data and analytics. So number nine here, erosion of editorial standards. Y'all get me back on that platform again. So sometimes being quick to put stuff out can lead to horrible, horrible editorial standards. There are people who will just put something out not caring. And the worst part about it is, if you were to correct them, they get upset that you corrected them instead of being embarrassed by the fact that they should have checked it themselves and that they were wrong. They don't, instead of saying, "Oh, I'm retracting that, I'm sorry," they stand on the fact that they did the wrong thing. And that's bothersome. That's really bothersome. Hopefully, if any of you who are watching this do that you will change. It's okay to be an adult enough to say I was wrong. Now, number 10 here, and the effects of social media on journalism is cross-platform integration. Cross-platform integration means the news organizations and social media share with each other. I see it all the time. News outlets, they have their own social media pages because they want to share on social media. Social media is being used on news programs and so forth. So the cross-platform integration is another way that social media has affected journalism. So now we're going to talk about how social media should be used in journalism. Now, verification of information. You heard me talk about this, and I'm going to keep hammering this. Journalists should always verify the authenticity of information. Always, always before you publish it. Number two, ethical reporting. Ethical reporting. I hope you guys have ethics. I mean, I really do. If you're watching me, I hope you do. Adhere to the same ethical standards on social media as a traditional journalist would have to do. Now, this is including respecting privacy, avoiding sensationalism. You heard me mention that word again. Now, what I mean by that, and especially the part here where it says as traditional journalism, a lot of the news out there today, and I'm going to say it, they're not journalists. They're not journalists. A journalist will look at the facts. A journalist will weigh the facts. A journalist will research. A journalist will make sure that things are done fair and equitable. A lot of people who are on TV today, on radio today, on podcasts today call themselves journalists, but they're not. Now, number three, transparency. Transparency. You should be transparent about your sources and methods when reporting news discovered by social media. But if you're not checking your sources, how are you going to be transparent about it? So if I pulled up a news story on social media that was reported by gossiphound.com, and gossiphound.com only spreads lies or makes up stories just to try to get something going, and I don't put that in my post that that's where I got it from, I'm not acting with a lot of integrity or transparency in that regard. So number four, real-time updates. You should use social media to do real-time updates of breaking news stories. So that way you can still incorporate the speed of getting your stories out, but you can also make sure it's accurate. I'm always refreshing the page to see if there's something new that came up on a big story. Because I want to make sure I'm right, but I want to make sure that I'm accurate in what's going on about the story and when it's happening in real time. So that's number four. Number five is audience engagement. Audience engagement. Utilize social media. You should be doing this anyway. You should be using social media to engage with the audience through comments, polls, interactive content, all of these things. Number six, multimedia content. Leverage multimedia capabilities of social media platforms. What it'll do is it'll enrich your story. You can use the videos, as I said earlier. You can use images. You can use infographics. But use all these things in your content. Number seven, make sure you're fact checking. Make sure you're fact checking. Make sure you're fact checking. Did I say that enough? Encourage and support the use of fact checking tools and resources. Because what it'll do is it'll stop you from putting out bad information. Unless you're one of those people that just loves to lie. Yeah, there are people out there, they love to lie. Y'all know. Y'all know a few. Hopefully you're not, though. But there are people out there who love to lie. Now, what you should be doing with social media, number 8, is build credibility. If you're consistent and you're consistently putting out information that's accurate, and you're consistently putting out information that's timely and credible, your credibility will grow. Your social media trust will be enhanced, and more of the audience will be attracted to you because they feel they can rely on you. They feel they can rely on you. Number 9, user-generated content. So when you're using social media content generated by users, social media users, always credit that person who put it there. Always credit them and the source. It's just an ethical thing to do. Okay. Now, number 10, collaborative journalism. It's okay to collaborate with other journalists, whether they're social media influence or someone that you just ran into. Someone, because they can help broaden the scope of news coverage. They may have a different angle than you. They may have a different perspective than you. They may have different insights than you. As long as you don't compromise journalistic integrity, you've heard me bring that up again. As long as you don't compromise journalistic integrity, it's okay to do that. So let's run through the things that, how social media should be used in journalism. Number 1, verify information. Number 2, ethical reporting. Number 3, transparency. Number 4, real-time updates. Number 5, audience engagement. Number 6, multimedia content. Number 7, fact checking. Number 8, build credibility. Number 9, user content. And number 10, collaborative journalism. So, as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm going to be putting out a book. It's going to be my media manifesto. And I want to talk about a lot of the things that need to and should be and could be changed about journalism, because I honestly believe in the US, journalism is dead, and the money and the greed have turned it into sensationalism and egos. And it's happening in other countries as well. But there are still some countries that still hold on to journalism, and I definitely greatly appreciate that, because we've become a society in a lot of ways that we rely so much on our social media, but we fail to fact check. We fail to be transparent. We fail to be accurate, and we fail to be ethical. So what I want to encourage and challenge more people to do is to check your facts and check the people who are doing it the wrong way. Don't be one who spreads lies. Please don't do that. Be someone who spreads the truth. Be someone who shares the truth. Be someone who helps others to use social media, because it's a fantastic tool. Social media is a fantastic tool, and it's not going anywhere. I know people used to think it was a fad, but it's not going anywhere. But embrace it, but use it the right way. Use it for good. I know that sounds corny, but use it for good. And make sure that you can support those who are using it the right way, and drown out the negative noise when people are using it. So that's our Media Boss Live for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you shared it. I hope you like it. I hope you can leave some comments and some encouragement for Media Boss Live for me too. So hopefully you got something out of it today. I am Dr. Barrett Matthews, and like I always say before we wrap up Media Boss Live, is that you are something special, because you are God's vessel. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon.